Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another fun-filled video for you. If you guys recall, I did my South African custom update, parts 1 and 2, which were my large knives. And I'm going to go ahead and continue that video with what you're seeing in front of you. These are my medium-sized knives, and then the final video, which I'll do immediately after this one, will be the small customs, South African customs that I've got. So I'm going to try and remember the names of all these knives. Some of these don't actually have knives, but I can at least tell you who made the knives and who the maker was. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm just going to talk about each knife, what's on it, what features are on it, what materials are on it that I liked. And maybe that'll give you guys a little bit of an idea of why I like customs so much. So let's start off with this first one here. This one's made by a Rucus Blumeris. This is practically or almost a full dress piece, but not quite. A full dress piece is one where every part of the knife has some sort of art on it. This almost is, but not really. So what we have on this knife is we've got an M390 blade that runs on IKBS ball bearing system. This is not ceramic. It's not a ceramic ball bearing system, but it is incredibly smooth, as you can see. It does fall shut. We've got marble carbon fiber on the knife. Really very pretty. And Damascus bolsters on both sides of the knife. Really, really, really nice. So marble carbon fiber, shredded marble carbon fiber, really, really kind of stands out. It's almost kind of 3D looking. Really love that. We got the carbon fiber on the back of for the back spacer and blue titanium liners. It's got a nice milled pocket clip on it. And again, the steel is M390. And I can't remember the name of the model, but the person who made the knife is a Rucus Blumeris, and he's one of my favorite South African knife makers. The next one is this guy's probably gained a lot of notoriety, even in like the last 10 years. Just about everyone who knows about knives knows who this guy is. This one's made by Andre Thorburn. This one's called the L51 front flipper. L48 front flipper model. Sorry, this one is custom, one-of-a-kind, handmade piece, same as this one. This is also one-of-a-kind, handmade. One-of-a-kind basically means you will never see another one like this ever again in this same exact handle configuration. Probably. But I think it's pretty much safe to say that you won't see this design again. So, at least not in this configuration. So this is, again, Andre Thorburn, his L48 front flipper model. And I don't think he has this model anymore. I'm not sure if he does. As far as I understand, he does not make this model anymore. I haven't seen it on the website, but you can go to andrethorburn.com and check out his website. I did not see the L48 model there. What we have here is some really pretty done by hand file work on the back spacer there. And we've got a G10 back spacer. Blade is in M390. I usually choose M390. It's a safe choice. I mean, it's not the best steel out there, but it's a safe choice, in my opinion. Really beautiful drop point blade. Again, shredded marble carbon fiber. With the milled pocket clip. And Basically, again, this is when it's a front flipper. Basically, you just take the flipper up at the top, and then you just press on it, and the blade will pop right out. This is on IKBS ball bearing system. And the ball bearings in this one are ceramic. Andre Thorburn. The bolster work is done by his wife, Marguerite. She does all the designs on the bolsters. They act pretty much as a team. Really very, very nice. Very pretty work on there. And they do try to cater to everyone's tastes when it comes to the bolsters. You can pretty much have any kind of a bolster you'd like to have on it. You just kind of have to ask, and there's a good chance that they'll be able to produce anything you want on the bolster. Marguerite is an exceptional artist when it comes to creating designs. This is one of her own designs. I mean, you can get one of these custom made, but usually Andre will make like 7 or 8 different knives, and his wife will make 8 or 9 designs, and they've got like quite a few knives ready to ship or be sent out to certain custom knife stores that they are commissioned with to sell. One of them is the Blade Gallery. If you go to www.bladegallery.com, you can check out all of their... Andre Thorburn got a lot of his stuff on that website. You can check a lot of his stuff out there. So this one is by J.D. Van Deventer. This guy's one of my favorite. He is pretty much a second generation South African knife maker. These two guys are kind of like first generation. They're a little older. This gentleman is not quite as old. These guys, I'm not going to say how old these guys are, but they're not young. They've been around for many, many, many years. I would say these guys probably been making custom knives for about 30 years now. J.D. Van Deventer, professionally, I'm going to say this guy's been making knives professionally for about 20 years. He is an amazing knife maker. This one, I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. I wish I did. This is one of the models that he makes. This is a one-of-a-kind handmade piece. It's got blue carbon fiber twill on it. Really very nice. Mixed in there, you see the shredded marble carbon fiber on both sides of the knife. His signature is this huge pivot ring. He loves to do these pivot rings. Every time I see that pivot ring, I know he's the guy that's made the knife. We've got blue anodized liners going all the way around the knife. Really very nice. Again, the blade steel is... I believe the blade steel on this one is CTS HXP, but I would have to check. I'm pretty sure it is, though. This knife is incredibly smooth. It runs on IKBS ball bearing systems, but not ceramic. Not ceramic ball bearings, just regular steel ball bearings. And he just does fantastic, fantastic work. I've actually got a knife coming from him probably within about a month, I believe. Another one. I'm such a fan of his work, I had to have another one of his knives. Because right now I've actually got 3 and I need to have 4. We've got a G10 backspacer. Or actually, I'm sorry. We've got carbon fiber backspacer on the back there. His flipper is quite unique. It's not a front flipper. But the front flipper, as you can see, it kind of looks like a front flipper, even though it isn't. He doesn't have the pecker type of flipper. What he's got is this sort of unique design where it's kind of a little bit squared off and then rounded, but it hardly sticks out in your pocket. And the action on this is just spectacular. Very, 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 very smooth operation on this one. Love that. So the next knife is a one by Andre Van Heerden and Andre Thorburn. This is a collaborative piece. Not quite sure how they make these because Andre Van Heerden is actually the one pretty much in charge of the selling of these knives, as far as I understand it, although the design of the knife comes from Andre Thorburn, and the influence on this knife by Andre Van Heerden would probably be, yeah, I'm going to say it's probably the shape of the knife and how it's designed. So they kind of work together as a team. But as far as promoting these knives, that's gone to Andre Van Heerden. Andre Van Heerden does a lot of collaborations with other knife makers. He doesn't just work with Thorburn. He also works with a French designer named Tashi Barucha. And you saw that knife in my last video. It was the large wood flipper that I had on that one, with the red scales on them. So it was really very pretty. This is a very sought after one. We've got carbon fiber, lightning strike carbon fiber with copper running through the scale of the knife, as you can see. It's a really nice combination, kind of a nice dark color to it. I love the way the copper kind of shines in the light there. It's on both sides, obviously. The pivot is made of zirconium, so that's kind of nice. And we've got blue-ish titanium liners with a carbon fiber backspacer on that. Again, we got a front flipper knife. Very well done, nice and smooth. This one is also on ceramic ball bearings as well. The advantage of ceramic ball bearings is technically you don't need to oil them. They just stay super smooth all the time. So here we have one by Trevor Burger. This one, I do remember the name. This is called the CFL Flipper by Trevor Burger. And we've got, what I like about this knife, the design of this knife, is that we've got a whole slab of lightning strike carbon fiber on one side, and then on the other side, it's just a titanium frame lock. So it's kind of like a half and half kind of knife. I love that design. I love that look. We've got a blue milled pocket clip on there. Titanium. Kind of matches the pivot ring on here. Definitely one of the smoothest knives in my collection. This is just an amazing knife. Every time I see this knife, I think of the Kershaw Leek. Like, this is like an upscale version of that knife, I think. At least my opinion. Really beautiful frame lock. One of the things about Trevor Burger that people like is he doesn't put a lot of writing on his knives. Like on this knife, you don't know whether it has ball bearings on it or not because he doesn't put that on the blade. He doesn't put his name on the blade. He puts nothing on the blade. I think he's the kind of a knife maker that makes knives with the concept of he's also the consumer. And I think as a consumer, he doesn't like to have writing on his knife, so he doesn't put it anywhere on the knife. He puts as little as possible. In fact, I'm surprised that you can actually see TBC on there for Trevor Burger Customs, because on my other knives, I have to find that somewhere on the knife. It's usually hidden in the front where you can't see it. That's just kind of like a signature that Trevor Burger does. He's just a great knife maker and really nice guy. I've spoken to him for quite a few times, not in person, but on Instagram. He's real nice. So here we have another Andre Thorburn knife. Andre Thorburn runs throughout my entire collection because he's kind of like the main guy that I go to when I want a really good custom, and I don't want to have to think about, the style too much, because he makes a lot of styles that are that your eyes are actually used to seeing and understanding. Because some of the knives in South Africa, the shapes of the knives, the materials that the knife is made from can be a little overwhelming because they use a lot of materials that are only good, or actually only available in South Africa. So what we have here is blue carbon fiber twill throughout the entire knife. This is not a one-of-a-kind handmade piece. He's probably made about 20 of these in this color. Same exact handle configuration. And this model you can see on his website. I believe it's on his website. This is called the L51 Compact Flipper. This is like Andre Thorburn's version of a production knife. If you just wanted a really good custom, and you're not interested in, figuring out what scales you like to have on it, or like what you want the backspacer to look like, or whether you want the file work. He'll just make a custom and make like 20 or 30 of them, and then he'll just sell them as though they were production knives. But let me tell you that this is all made by hand. Like every knife here that you see on this table, they're all made completely by hand. There's some machining involved in these, but basically for the detail work, like the file work you see back here on the knife, that's done by hand. They don't do that with a machine. The steel on this one is CTS XHP. Really good steel. And this is also on ceramic ball bearings. As you can see, it pretty much drops shut. Action on there. And the next knife, again, I don't remember the name, but I can tell you that the knife is made by Andre Thorburn's son-in-law. It turns out that Andre Thorburn has a daughter, and she married a knife maker named Keith Kruger, and that's who this knife is made from. So on this one, we've got the marble carbon fiber and the red micarta inlay on both sides of the knife. Really very pretty. Runs on IKBS. This is the only knife that I have from this kid. He's a young guy. He's not, I think he's in his early 30s or late 20s, I think. He's just starting out his career as a knife maker, and he's really coming into his own now. As far as I understand, he did do a short stint with his father-in-law, and then when he was ready, he just went off on his own to make his own knives. He just does fantastic work. Keeping it in the family. So, yeah, this one's by Keith Kruger. Marble carbon fiber, red micarta inlay, really very pretty. Again, milled pocket clip with the mercury ball. That's a mercury ball on there, by the way. As far as I understand, that's what they call it. I don't know if it's called a mercury, made from mercury, but it's called a mercury ball. They use that on the pocket clip. It's really kind of nice. Adds an extra accent to the knife that you don't see on regular production knives by any production company. Steel on this is N690. N690 is really popular in South Africa. We have it here in the States too, but it's not as popular. In fact, we see N690 sort of as a mid-grade steel. But definitely better than Sandvik 14C 28N, and definitely better than Mauve 13, that's for sure. So the last medium-sized knife I have here is made by Willem Steenkamp. One of the most unique things about Willem Steenkamp, he doesn't make a lot of large knives. Most of his knives are kind of small to medium. This is one of his. I love this knife because it reminds me of, it reminds me of like a Western It's kind of got like a Western theme with this silver. Like, in other words, it reminds me of like a Hollywood cowboy for some reason. You know, he comes in off of his horse and, you know, jangles into town, and he's got one of these on him. It just looks like, I think it's probably because of this pivot here. And the fact that it's all in white and black, I don't know. It just looks like a knife that a cowboy would be carrying in his pocket, you know, if he were all dressed up for a night on the town. We've got a titanium pocket clip. We've got white micarta inlay on that. And we've got some carbon fiber on the knife with the white inlay on both sides. This is actually an inlay. In other words, it's two pieces, but if you put your finger across it, you can't tell or feel any separation between this material and that material, which tells me that this guy really, I don't know, he must file the crap out of it, because I can't feel anything on that. Blade steel is M390. Runs on IKBS ball bearing system. I forgot to mention, this knife does not run on IKBS. It's a caged bearing system, kind of like KBT, Kershaw's KBT. It's a caged ball bearing system on this one. So, Willem Steenkamp is the gentleman that makes this knife. Really beautiful, nice action. So there you have it, my medium-sized customs from South Africa. Probably going to have more. I mean, I don't see this knife collecting thing ending anytime soon. It's, you know, I love the hobby. It's what I just love having. I love having these knives. I love having to make a decision which one I'm going to carry in my pocket every day. And yes, these knives all on the table, they may not look like they've been used, but they have been used lightly, but they have been used. So there you have it, part 3 of my South African knives. We're going to come back with the smalls here. So I'll come back with my small versions in a few minutes. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment. If you have any questions regarding any of these knives that I have here, I'd be glad to answer any questions. I have just passed the 300 mark for subscribers, and I hope to keep growing. So we'll see what happens. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good evening.